Hello, my name is Fabian Di Rosario, and I'm recording this video from my home just outside of the city of Atlanta, Georgia, USA. Thank you for viewing this video. The recent world crisis of the virus pandemic and our national crisis of racial strife give us all an opportunity to pause and to reflect. It has certainly given me pause. This pause has given me time to think about several truths or imperatives that I believe is necessary for us to heal and to progress for the sake of our common humanity. The length of this video is about 20 minutes. After I speak with you on each topic, I will pose a question to you for reflection. I invite you to pause the video at that point and ponder and answer the question for yourself. So here they are, some ideas I'd like to share with you for your consideration. I'm doing the screen share now. The first topic is human connection and reliance. The importance of the human connection has been reinforced by our recent experiences of being sheltered at home. Regardless of the distances and difficulties, we find ourselves compelled to connect with those who matter to us, sometimes in ways that we've never even tried before. As humans, we need to belong. At this moment in time, we realize how much we need to feel this sense of belongingness. Also, in thinking about this human connection, we also realize that we are connected in so many ways. We breathe the same air. We rely on and share resources from all across this vast planet. Incidents that happen in one tiny corner of our country can spark distress and compassion throughout our nation. Fascinating neuroscience research even shows how our brain is able to feel the pain and joy that others experience. Look up the research on mirror neurons. Our world is smaller than we imagine, and we are very interconnected. During these past few months, we've all come to realize how much we are also reliant on one another. We are reminded of how much we need one another to survive and to thrive. We rely on a lot of other people, many who remain invisible and unknown to us, and yet these people contribute to our quality of life. We have clean water and electricity in our homes, medical professionals who are ready to help us when we need them, farmers who grow and harvest our food, imported technology that we use every day, like our smartphones. How about those brilliant minds working right now to create a vaccine for COVID-19? Or perhaps you've used the Instacart app, which connected you to a stranger who shopped for you and delivered groceries to you. And there are so many more people that you could imagine, reminding us of our interconnectedness and our mutual reliance. Let's not take that for granted. These people who we rely on come from all walks of life, scattered across this planet. It is undeniable that we rely on a vast diversity of people to live the life that we cherish. The need for meaningful human connection endures. This human connection and our mutual reliance is very, very real. Time for some personal reflection. Here's a question for you to think about. Write it down. What have you done over the past 2 or 3 months to connect in a meaningful way with others? I invite you to pause the video to write down your response to this question. Next topic, understanding. The Polish physicist and chemist Marie Curie said, "Nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood." The willingness and diligence to seek understanding is crucial, especially in these unusual and challenging times. We live in a world filled with a broad spectrum of people. This diversity presents limitless options that can be gathered together for good. But caution, differences can also divide. It is the power of mutual understanding that will bridge this divide. Practicing inclusiveness rallies the brilliance of diversity. The COVID-19 pandemic has forced us to understand people better, to have more empathy. Remember workplace policies that made working from home questionable, perhaps stemming from the uncertainty about people being able to be productive working from home? Look at us now. We're capable and we're productive working from home. Teams have found new ways to collaborate at a distance. We have been forced to understand better and to implement new ways to flex our work procedures, work location, work time, and we have prevailed. Now, also, recent incidents involving snap judgments about people based on skin color, several of these incidents resulting in senseless deaths, has surfaced societal and structural racial justice issues that no one can ignore. As we all strive towards the American ideal of fair treatment for all, we must also understand that some people are treated quite differently for no other reason other than just showing up as the human being that they are. Your personal American experience can be very different from the experience of others. Strive to better understand the experiences that others have and the impact that it has on their families and their communities, and eventually the impact that it has on our common humanity. Understand that our personal lives and our work lives are inextricably interwoven. Know that what happens in our society can very much affect a person personally, deeply, and it will impact us in our work community as well. Seek to understand. The ability to understand begins with knowing that we are so connected as humans. Combine that with empathy, compassion, and mutual respect, and we can heal the ills of our society. Do not let anything get in the way of your ability to understand better, especially your pride and ego. The author and university professor, Dr. Rick Rigsby, said it best. Ego is the anesthesia that deadens the pain of stupidity. Strive to understand. Listen well to understand. Here is the reflection question I invite you to think about. Write it down. What are 3 things or subjects or topics that you would like to understand better? Pause the video now to write your response to this question. Next topic, manage biases and stereotypes. One of the biggest enemies of human progress are assumptions and biases that we assert upon others. Biases are preconceived notions and inclinations towards or against something, someone, regardless of the evidence. Unconscious bias or implicit biases are the ones that are so ingrained in our minds that we are unaware that we harbor them. Stereotypes are fixed, oversimplified judgments and conclusions that we assign to groups of people. It is the assumption that if a person is perceived to belong to a certain group of people, that person must have the attributes of that group. Stereotypes are hasty judgments that can pigeonhole and hurt people. A stark example of the impact of stereotypes that resulted from this virus pandemic is the surge of anti-Asian bias and assaults in the United States by people who falsely blame individuals who even remotely look Chinese as the carrier of the COVID-19 virus. This hostility is also illustrative of how Asian Americans are often seen as foreigners in their own land, and they don't belong here, and that they are rebuked to go home, meaning get out of this country, which I have the right to proclaim as mine, and you don't belong here. And when a stereotype is combined with deep-rooted disdain, it can have horrifying consequences. The heartbreaking deaths of Rayshard Brooks, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Tamir Rice, that kid in Cleveland, and countless others compel us to examine the role of ingrained biases that result in the withdrawal of personal restraints, leading to the senseless deaths of human beings. These shocking events have shaken the core of the American values, revealing to many that the pandemic of racism still exists among our people and in our common culture. Such heartless actions towards another human being stem from a disregard for human life and the susceptibility of the human mind to rush to judgment about others who they may lack knowledge of and understanding or appreciation for. The human mind, while remarkable, can be fallible, prone to errors and bad judgment. Even good people, often with good intentions, can harbor unconscious biases, think reactively, and act hostile to others, especially when fueled by fear, uncertainty, and anxiety. A person is not dangerous due to the color of one's skin. A person is not the cause of a virus just because they look like someone from a distant country. A person is not a terrorist just because of the faith or religion that they embrace. A person is not stupid because of a disability. A person is not an outcast because of one's sexual orientation or gender identity. A person is not automatically a racist just because he or she serves as a policeman or a policewoman. So stop these assumptions. Stop making people guilty by association. But do not stop being courageous to stop ignorance and bias. And so I extend this call to every individual who can hear me. Manage your biases and stereotypes. This will help you reveal and recognize your unconscious biases, which is much more difficult to realize. And then you can work towards interrupting your biases. Remember this, you are not responsible for your first reactive thought, but you are responsible and accountable for your consequent thoughts and resulting actions. Can be a heavy topic. All right, here is the reflection question. Identify 3 possible biases or stereotypes that you may have about others that you would like to reveal and eliminate. Go ahead and pause the video to write your response. Now that you have identified these, I hope that you will seek to understand, read, watch videos, talk with these others to help you learn more about their experiences. Perhaps this exercise will help you regard them as being part of us and not so much others. All right, over to the next topic. The next topic is appreciation. Be appreciative and grateful. Please do not take things for granted. Despite the difficulties, I'll say again, despite the difficulties you may be facing now, I invite you to examine what you do have. Perhaps it's good health, access to good health care, a stable living arrangement, a loving family. You have a job, a means to an income. What is it that you do have that you can be thankful for? Remember my first point about human connections and reliance? I appreciate that while in these difficult times, I have clean water flowing conveniently into my home. You know, there are scientists, engineers, lawyers, people whose jobs are to ensure that we have clean water, clean air, clean land for me and my loved ones to live a quality and safe life. I am grateful that there are people who make it their careers to do this for us. I appreciate knowing that there are first responders who I may never know that will come to my aid if I need emergency help. I'm grateful for my wife. I appreciate the family I have. How about this photo? I took this photo that I'm using for the slide, reminding me of the tour of South Africa that my wife and I and a few friends did about 4 years ago. The bus pulled over because we saw this double rainbow. Do you see the double rainbow? Oh, I'm so grateful for all these things that I have in my life. I invite you to be thankful and celebrate all the blessings that you do have. Appreciation gives rise to optimism and hope. Live life with gratitude. It will lift your attitude. Your attitude will determine your altitude. Be appreciative. And here is your question to ponder on. What do you appreciate? Make a list. I hope that you enjoyed reading your list. It's probably a long list if you spent some time on it. And I hope that your heart and face is smiling as you see the list that you generated. I'm sure it made you feel good. One more point. This topic is new and renewal. Now, while more of the same is very comfortable and very reassuring, I guarantee you change will always continue to happen. There will always be something new for you to confront. How will you respond? The ability to be adaptive and to manage the new is critically important. During this period of shelter at home and the nation's distress about racial inequity, find ways to seek understanding, to be compassionate, to realize the multiple realities of communities in our society that are happening all the time. Seek to understand better and take initiative towards better outcomes, whether it's initiative towards making things better for your family or taking initiative towards improving the community or the society that we live in. Do something. New challenges call for new actions. Embrace new ways to contribute in your work and in your profession. Like how you've been working from home, maybe you have pivoted your business to generate revenue in new ways. These are all new work modalities that you have found yourself, that you've been thrown into. Make these work well for you. Embrace these new realities and get good at it. Get good at building trusting relationships at a distance. Establish those new routines at home that allow you to manage your numerous responsibilities, especially for those of you who have small children. I'm sure you found creative and effective ways to juggle the multiple roles in your home. And even when we finally return to the workplace, it is going to be very different. It will be a very new workplace environment. Prepare for that. All of these examples and many more that you can think of in dealing with the new are ways towards renewal, self-renewal. Renewal requires opening yourself up to new ways of thinking and feeling. Frankly, life's journey is all about change and renewal. So, how can you constantly renew yourself? Here are some ideas. First, be kind to yourself. Allow yourself to be vulnerable, because being vulnerable allows you to unlock yourself to receive the new. Take care of your health, physically and mentally, so that you can rejuvenate, to have the strength to take on the new. Be kind to others. Get the best version of yourself to show up with others. Be appreciative of the full spectrum of people who share this fragile planet with us. Taking care of yourself and extending kindness and consideration towards others forms this virtuous loop, this feedback cycle that drives growth and innovation. Our life experiences and history have shown us this, that when we take care of ourselves and we take care of the society that we live in, there is progress. This life journey that we're in will always present us with new challenges and opportunities. And that calls on us to refresh, to rejuvenate, and to renew. And so here is a question for you to ponder on. Identify 3 things that you want to do, 3 action items that will help you renew and rejuvenate for yourself. Pause the video to do that if you need to. All right, so here are the 5 ideas or imperatives that I invite you to examine. Human connection and reliance, understanding, managing biases and stereotypes, appreciation, new and renew. Notice that it fittingly spells human. Now, before I finish, there is one more thing I'd like you to consider. It is an attribute that I believe is a human capability that is a vital driver for dealing with this ever-evolving human experience. So here it is. Resilience. A wise preacher once said, tough times don't last, but tough people do. Resilience means bouncing back from difficult experiences. History has shown us this. Inspiring stories of our heroes have shown us this. Even your personal experiences have shown us that we can be adaptive, we can recover, and we can be resilient. Resilience is the ability to thrive instead of being traumatized. It requires us to be centered in our purpose and in our moral compass, using these to drive through the difficulties and to achieve the results that we want to see. Resilience is about allowing yourself to be vulnerable, to ask for help when you need it. And the strength to do this is the same strength that fuels your energy to be mindful of others and to help others when needed. Resilience is about having courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. In fact, courage is deciding to face the fear and to face the uncertainty and then take action while still feeling that anxiety. Acting on your courage builds resilience in the form of bravery. Resilience is also initiative. The power of your resilience also powers action. That is your ability to make conscious choices and to act accordingly. So make good choices. And I suggest that you can make good choices based on the ideas that I've outlined in human connection and reliance, understanding, managing biases and stereotypes, appreciation, new and renew. Barriers and struggles have tested you. Also know this, there are others whose adversities are even greater than ours. However, I believe in the power of the human spirit, and we will prevail. So stay strong, stay resilient. When we learn how to become resilient, we learn how to embrace the beautifully broad spectrum of the human experience. So here they are, my thoughts for your consideration on what I think we need for our common humanity. To help remember these 6 ideas, I call it Human RX. Consider this to be the medicine that we need in our human race, the prescription, perhaps a remedy for us to heal ourselves and to heal our communities together. South African cleric and human rights activist Archbishop Desmond Tutu has a quote that says it best. My humanity is bound up in yours, for we can only be human together. So I ask you, what will you do to help heal and forward our community? Thanks for listening.